You probably guessed from when you were chatting with my colleague that we're going to be talking about frozen desserts.
How'd you know? Of course, yes.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's going to be a really fun category, I think, to talk about the kind of products that are in frozen desserts. I'm a professional market researcher, and we are going to be recording today's session for research purposes. And it's going to last about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Do you have any questions before we get started?
Nope.
Perfect. Have you been to these kinds of market research interviews before?
I've done once before, yes.
Okay. Then it's probably going to be similar. It's really about your opinions. It's about what you personally think, the good, the bad, the ugly. As long as it's your true opinion, there are no wrong answers today.
True.
Great. So I would love to start by hearing just a little bit about you. So tell me a little bit about if you work and what kind of work you do, and tell me about your household, how many people are in your household.
Sure. So I'm a notary signing agent and I have my real estate license. And so I have my own business, been self-employed for a while. I find market research very interesting. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I should go dabble in that field too. Because it's fun. You get to talk to different people. You get to give your opinion. This is why I like this is one of the things I like about doing studies like this, or focus groups. So regarding the family, it's me and my two parents. We live at our house. And we buy all kinds of cool frozen dessert products, since we're talking today.
Well, good. We're going to talk more about that later, but how exciting that you have your own business. Good for you. And
thank you. I know, I like hearing that about people as well. It makes me very positive and optimistic.
Yes. So I want to know a little bit about the area where you live. What is it like around where you live?
It's a suburb outside of Boston, without traffic, it's like 20 minutes southwest of the city. However, there's always traffic. So it's usually during rush hour, it can take up to an hour.
Well, I don't know that you can get away from traffic anywhere these days.
I don't know if that's actually possible. I was thinking that one day. I was like, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
You're right.
And what are one of the things that you're looking forward to doing this coming summer?
Well, I have a friend who has a wedding about a month from now, so I'm looking forward to that.
What about the wedding are you looking forward to?
Just seeing her. It's a joyous occasion. In the past year, it just seems to be so much negativity all the time. You know what I mean? It's really encouraging.
I hear you about that for sure. That sounds like an exciting event to look forward to for sure. So let's jump into frozen desserts. So when I say frozen desserts, what comes to your mind?
I personally think, for me, it's an umbrella term that encompasses everything from the frozen pies to ice cream to the like apple turnovers that I like to get frozen that are really good. So I kind of think of all those products.
And which types of those products do you typically buy for your household?
All of them, all three.
Okay.
I buy the Smith's frozen pie sometimes, the chocolate, blueberry. I'll get like the ice cream rolls that Friendly's puts out. I'll get like I love the chocolate ice cream bars, especially the Magnum chocolate are really good.
Yeah, for what reasons are you buying the frozen pies? What gets you to take that off the shelf that day?
You mean as opposed to fresh, or just I do
as opposed to a different product? Another kind of frozen dessert.
I've bought them for some time now. I happen to like them. I think they're pretty good. I think they taste good, and they're so easy to, it's convenience and laziness is what it gets from. Like always.
Yeah. Is there a special brand that you buy?
The pies, Mrs. Smith's is the one I get the most.
And is that a large pie, or is that a single serve or something else?
It's a regular size pie, yeah. So it could probably deal with 3-4 people.
Wow. And why is it that you buy a size that can serve 3 or 4 people?
Because when I'm buying it, it's usually for the family, not just me. Or if I'm going somewhere, I'll grab one. It's perfect too. So I can head out, stop at the store, grab it, and then head to wherever I'm going.
Okay. Good. So thinking about, different times in the year, would you say that the how often you buy a frozen dessert changes throughout the year at all?
With the apple turnovers and that, what's their, oh my God, Pepperidge Farm puts out? No. For the ice cream, well, actually, no, not really. Because something people think is weird is I love ice cream regardless of the season. Like I don't have it because it's hot out. I have it because I just love the taste of it. It's always one of my favorite desserts/snacks.
So you said the word weird, and that caught my attention. So why do you think that others think it's weird for you to eat ice cream all the
Because
time?
I've been told that I have iced coffee in summer and coffee in ice cream and iced coffee in the winter, and people tell me I think it's really strange and weird that I would have that in the winter.
And how does it make you feel when you hear that?
Oh, I don't care. I'm too busy eating and drinking. I think it's funny.
Is there any effect that weather has on your purchasing, or not at all?
For me, no. Like I'll use the grill year round too. In fact, I like it in the winter too. No, not really. No.
Why do you think that is the case for you?
Why is that the case? Good question. Why is that the case? Probably because I base things on whether I like them, if I feel like having them, as opposed to the temperature outside. Actually, I lied. The only thing I buy more this time of year, if the warmer weather, is like the big bags of ice for the cooler or to have more ice in the fridge. But other than that, nothing else really changes.
Okay. How about for different kinds of events or occasions? In what ways does your purchasing of frozen desserts change around those?
You mean does it depend on the season?
Well, if you have maybe like any kind of like special events you have throughout the year, maybe like birthdays or celebrations or
Yeah, I get
occasions, that kind of
it.
thing.
One friend is like an annual St. Patrick's Day thing. I'll usually get some type of St. Patrick's Day type, the time of year, like they have a lot more St. Patrick's Day green
Mm-hmm.
type stuff for desserts. I
Mm-hmm.
might grab something before I head there. A lot of it too is because I'm out a lot. So if I'm coming from somewhere else, it doesn't make sense for me to have a dessert that could go bad. So I'll just grab something down the street from where they live. Birthdays, like the ice cream, especially during the summer, the ice cream rolls and the ice cream cakes, I would say are
Mm-hmm.
very popular.
Mm-hmm. Would you do those in the winter or not? A roll for.
I have bought them for the winter. Yes.
Is it your first choice in the winter or not?
Is what my first choice.
Is it your first choice to get a frozen cake roll in the winter, or in the winter do you also pick maybe something different because it's winter or not?
For me personally, if I'm buying it for me, it wouldn't matter. But honestly, if I was going to an event, say in the winter time or not summer, I might more opt for something in the bakery, like a cake, cupcakes, brownies, just because I'm thinking I would think most people, like I said, aren't receptive to it as much. But for me, I would.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What else would get you to buy maybe a cake in a cooler month as opposed to a frozen dessert?
Any type of like themed, like cakes, like if it's 4th of July and they have a 4th of July bakery makes like the 4th of July themed cakes, I might get stuff like that, or the cupcakes.
Yeah. I hear some typing in the background. Is it possible to maybe is there something typing in the background? I hear like some static typing.
No, let me look. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to have the environment around me as quiet as possible.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you hear anything still?
Not right now, thank you. Yeah, it's really important that I capture your feelings and your ideas. And sometimes if it's part of the working at home and the Zoom thing, is sometimes we have, sometimes what happens to me like on Thursdays, because it's not Thursday, the gardeners come and the lawnmowers in the
like
background.
Your office environment. Is that your home office? It's pretty impressive.
Thank you. It's to be honest and frank, it's one of those Zoom backgrounds.
Oh, that's so cool. Anyways, that's really awesome. That's impressive. You're able to do.
So thank you for that. I just want to make sure that we can have as much attention on the discussion as possible, so that we can be productive and I really can capture exactly what you expect to need in the frozen desserts category. So great. So let's move on and talk about if you had to pick only one of your most favorite, for you personally, not your household or other people, but you personally, what is your most favorite frozen dessert for you?
Favorite frozen dessert. I would probably say the ice cream rolls that Friendly's puts out. I always liked buying those. I know they always had one, the original was like the vanilla and chocolate, and then they've added a few different ones over the years, like different flavors basically. I
Mm-hmm,
kind of
mm-hmm.
like what they call the birthday cake, like if like the little, what do you call those? The little colorful things that kids tend to like in ice cream.
You mean the like the speckled things?
Yes, the confetti they call them. Like we know the
Okay,
confetti.
confetti. Thank you. That's the word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not confetti like that goes in a card or thing, but yeah, that type of stuff.
Yeah. I personally haven't been in a Friendlies in probably over 10 years. Tell me
Right.
a little bit about that cake roll. I kind of have an image of what it was like more than 10 years ago, but I want to hear it from you because I'm sure it's changed over time.
It's been pretty much the same. It's just literally, like round, kind of like you make the cakes like that. I mean, I obviously don't quite know how they go about making it to have it come out with that design.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Use one of those, what do you call it? Molds, probably. But it's just vanilla and chocolate, and it's got like the Oreo cookie crumb like piece like that the chocolate clear ice cream bars have on them on the outside. It's just rolled chocolate and vanilla. I like it. It's refreshing, flavorful, delicious. I like the flavor combination together.
Mm-hmm. So just to make sure that I'm understanding what it has cake and ice cream, and even some flavors have like crumbled up Oreo cookies. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's just the ice cream one is the one I'm referring to. They might have one with cake too, but the one I'm thinking of just has the ice cream.
Oh, it's just ice cream with no cake.
Yeah,
Oh,
correct. It
okay.
says it's called the ice cream roll specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it a log for multiple people, or is it just like a one person serving?
About this long, so yeah, I mean it's probably for, I'd say, I don't know, like how much ice cream you eat, maybe two or three people. I mean, it wouldn't be for enough for a big party, save a bunch of people. You could probably get multiple ones. It just comes in one size and is relatively small. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you. I think I was thinking of something different, so I'm really glad that you clarified that for me.
I think there are some companies like Carnation is not Carnation, Carvel. I think they make one that's a combination. That might be they
Okay.
make pretty good ice cream cakes too.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does the that Friendly's ice cream roll? How does that taste in your mouth? If you can imagine for a second, you're actually eating it right now. How does that taste for you?
Really good. I would say a nice combination, like you said, of chocolate and vanilla at the same time. Um, on a day like today, when it's really hot out, it would definitely be more refreshing. Definitely stay out of the heat because you know how ice cream melts so quick.
Mm-hmm. 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 And about how often do you buy that Friendly's cake roll?
Ooh, probably like once or twice a week
Okay. Why that often?
because I love it. I can go right.
How do you buy that in comparison to other frozen desserts?
I'd say more frequently than other ones.
Okay.
The
And
turnover to buy might be once a month, but that's definitely like a few times a week usually.
okay, good. Yay. Um, well, good. Let's continue to talk about your cake roll for a little bit more. In that, I want to ask you to go along with me because I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a couple of seconds and think back to the very first time you had the Friendly's cake roll. So tell me, where are you and around when was it?
Hmm. I don't know if it's the very first time I had it or it's just the first time I could recall. I remember being at, I think, my cousin's birthday party, and their parents bought that. Being from New England, it's like, Friendly's is headquartered in Western Mass. And, they're definitely like really popular and stuff like that. So that's my aunt actually happens to love them as much as I do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I think it was at my cousin's birthday, and I remember she had one of those there.
And were you a child or about how old maybe?
Yeah, I was a kid, probably like early, like before teen years, maybe 9, 10. I can't remember the
Okay.
exact age. I'm
Okay.
trying to think if there's something else that can help me narrow down. I'd just say around that time.
Okay. And How does it feel to think about that first time you had that cake roll with your cousins?
Like, you mean what emotions?
Yeah,
Right
what
now, it's
emotions?
like good times, because like as a child, one of the fun things was going to the birthday party because you're around, of anyone because you're around kids. It's exciting, it's fun. So I mean, I definitely miss, I was definitely a part of childhood I liked and I miss.
Hmm.
Very
Hmm.
reminiscent, it's very nostalgic, I think, for people. If you had a good experience, or good experiences, that is.
Yeah, yeah. And in what ways are those feelings of nostalgia important to you?
Um, why are they important or how?
How are they important to you?
I think it's good to when because unfortunately, like as people, we have memories. Some are good, some are not so good. So
Mhm.
it's nice to have good memories or good experiences because I'm certainly one when I think back to those, I kind of like that triggers like feelings inside where oh man, like that was so sweet. I really enjoyed that this time, or I really enjoyed going there. And then certain things too, like really are vivid and stand out, like details around certain things.
Yeah. And that first time with your cousins and your aunt, do you remember, was that indoors or outdoors?
Oh, that was indoors. That was at her house.
Okay, okay. And how about the feel of the party? What was like the overall, like the emotions of the party itself?
It was fun. I remember my first cousins were there, and then some of my cousin's friends, and then like some neighbors and some of my aunt's friends too that she's known for years were there. Like those I vividly recall. Balloons, streamers, party favors. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The adults are sitting at the table talking while the kids run around and wreak havoc. You know how that goes.
Yep. Um, so when do you think the last time you purchased your Friendly's cake roll was?
I think it was about 2.5 months ago. Two and a half
Okay.
months ago, about that.
Okay. Okay. So why about that long ago?
I've just been working a lot, traveling, going to funerals. It just hasn't been when I've been shopping, it's for staple like stuff and it's not really, it just hasn't been on my mind really. It
Mm-hmm.
being ice cream too, it easily melts. So that's a factor too when I'm staying somewhere. They don't come, they don't have a freezer, you know what I mean? So
Right. Right. Well, I'm sorry to hear you had some funerals to go to recently. Sorry for
me
your
too.
loss.
It's part of life, I guess. I just found out the other day someone else passed away. Just but it happens, it's life. So
Yeah. Yeah. So the last time you had it around 2.5 months ago, what were you doing that day that you were eating it? Do you remember?
yeah, I know it was a weekday and I was working. I can't remember exactly what day because I remember it was the laptop doing work. I had a meeting in between and I just felt like having some. So I went and got some. I
Mm-hmm.
know it was a weekday because I remember it was work meetings and stuff, but I can't recall exactly what day it was. Might have been, I don't know. I shop random days, so that doesn't even help me. Maybe beginning of the week, middle of the week.
Yeah. What do you think got you to go out and get the ice cream roll that day?
What got me to do that? Trying to remember.
I mean, you could have got chips or a donut or something else. Why
True.
a frozen dessert?
Um, I think the ice cream roll itself, because like usually, like I said, I usually go and get it. And it's different. It's cold. It tastes so different than chips and donuts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And thinking about that last time that you had it, would you say your experience eating it was around the same, or was it different from that very first time you had it as a child with your cousins?
Um, oh, that's a good point. Um, well, if truthfully, it's one of those things where, well, it was a different occasion. I mean, as a kid, it was different, but as an adult, it's like you can hoard it for yourself. So that in that way, it's better. Let's be honest. That's the fun part.
What else is different about having it today or in the present day?
I know I'm trying to like. I think I'm more aware, more mindful of how it tastes than I was then. Or your taste buds change, I guess too. I don't know. I say I still like it, but I think I'm more like I don't know how to say it. I know the taste now more, or I pay attention to it more than I did. Maybe that's a good way to say it.
Yeah. For what reasons do you think you pay a little bit more attention to the taste these days?
I think I'm just older, newer, fresher memories. I'm more mindful. I pay attention to the moment and what's going on and all the sensations around it. So I think that's part of it.
Mm-hmm. And when you're not in the cycle of buying the Friendly's ice cream roll, what do you think is holding you back from buying it more often or more at once?
Um, some of it is like I said, I love it, but I mean at the same time, I don't want to be excessive. So it does have a lot of sugar and carbs in it, which I try to avoid. So a lot of it's just, I guess, that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. 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 And how many do you normally buy at once?
Sometimes I've bought just one consumption because I know if I buy more than that, they'll go quickly, if you get what I'm saying. Sometimes I've bought two. It depends on if there's something going on, I might buy like two or three.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take one for myself, take one somewhere.
Okay. Okay. Let's change gears a little bit and talk about the stores where you would normally buy the
Okay.
Friendly's cake roll or any. Let's no forget that I said that. The store where you would buy any frozen dessert, where you buy just whatever it is you're going to buy that day. You're going to go look to buy frozen desserts. So tell me, what store or stores would you normally be shopping to buy frozen desserts?
The stores I shop at regularly are Stop and Shop, Shaw's. I go to Wegmans, and sometimes I go to Costco when I want to buy like the desserts and like the bulk packages.
Okay. Okay. And which one of those do you think you more often buy frozen desserts at?
I buy the ice cream roll the most at Stop and Shop just because it's actually a little more there than some, but it's right up the street for me. It's very
Okay,
easy in, out. I know where it is. It's not a pain to get to. A lot of it's convenience.
got it. Totally makes sense. So, what I want to do in the next 5 or so minutes is this sort of like put on our magic hats and ask you to redesign the frozen dessert section of
Ooh.
your Stop and Shop. So there are no wrong answers, no crazy ideas. So, in what ways would you want to make changes to the frozen dessert aisle at Stop and Shop?
Now, are we talking about the overall visual, or are we talking about the actual products themselves, what they look like, what they taste like?
We're talking about the way it looks in the store.
Okay. How would I change that? First of all, I would say I'd have a much bigger section that is allocated towards that. I feel like, for example, Stop and Shop, you go in and you look at you kind of go to the bakery, you go past that, and you see the frozen like ice cream and stuff, and you have a small section that's allocated to that. I feel like it should be bigger. I'd say make it more visual, like you know how Carville, for example, it's like the pink boxes, or some have the blue boxes. I feel like the designing itself and lighting's a big thing too. Like I think the lighting could be different there, could kind of make the colors pop out more, if you know what I'm saying. And the freezer cases themselves, I noticed some stores have changed like the design or the width of the glass. I think that if you change that, that would actually maybe make it better as well. You know what I mean? You can kind of see him better and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's talk for a minute. You brought up some really good ideas, and I want to make sure that I understand them. So, when you said make the section bigger, as I think, and I'm going to be writing my report next week, for what reasons do you want a bigger section? I would love to make sure I capture that in my report.
Because it's the whole like, what's a good example? I'm trying to get how to best articulate it. You kind of go in, it's like, let's be honest, we all love like the frozen desserts, and that's like, the stuff that I would say most people are drawn to, especially kids. So I just feel like there could be a section where you had more frozen desserts. Because I'm a visual person, so that kind of drives me more so than maybe it would some people. Like I like to
Yeah.
see that. And I've noticed in some stores, I think the selection could be a lot bigger, or they could have a better selection. And some stores, I'd say that's been the case. So,
Yeah, let's talk about that selection. That's a really interesting point. What exactly do you want to see more of?
let's see, more varieties of stuff. Like I'm a big chocolate person. Like I'd love if they made an ice cream roll that was just chocolate, like dip, rich chocolate, milk chocolate. Like I would like more chocolate. I think way too many things are just vanilla.
I agree with you on that one. And
Terrible.
besides vanilla, what else do you want to delete or have less of?
Well, like the Pepperidge Farm turnovers, right? They have apple. It'd be cool if they had cherry, raspberry. I mean, I don't know how well they'd sell, but their main one is apple, which is delicious. I think they have a blueberry one, but I just kind of add more varieties, like to accommodate more taste. I would say with the pies, like the same there, cherry pie. I know they have a lemon meringue, they have a chocolate cream pie, stuff like that. Like different varieties, different things. I would definitely try more different ones.
Okay. And to help me understand, I want to make sure I understand when you say variety, are you referring to a type of product, a brand, a flavor, a form, a size?
Oh, okay.
What do you
Sorry.
mean by variety in this case?
You're right. To be more specific, different flavors.
Okay. And why is it that you're really interested in more flavors?
I just like more options and more selections. I just actually think it's kind of limiting. Like I said, the only thing with the ice cream roll I don't like is I wish it was chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. I
Mhm.
just, or maybe even do an ice cream roll like you said, where you mix I like the idea too of the real cake with like the ice cream. That would be perfect if you combine the two of those.
And what do you personally get out of more flavors in the freezer case? What's the end game for you on that?
More to choose from, maybe try new things I might not think I'd like, being surprised by that, stuff like that.
And if I ask you to complete a sentence, I like to try new flavors of frozen desserts and ice cream because, what would go in the because?
Um, I like variety. I like different flavors. I like choices. I like trying new things.
And that makes you feel,
Better because I get bored easily. So I like when there's more options for stuff. That's what I think a lot of it gets back to. And that's true for anything.
okay, okay, cool. I love that aspect. Thank you. What other changes do you want to make to that frozen dessert freezer section aisle that would make shopping easier for you?
Make shopping easier. Better labeling. Sometimes what I notice is some products will have literally no labeling underneath or things are in the wrong area, which sometimes I know customers just pick stuff up and throw them back in random spots. That could be some of it. Or it's just very small. It's very hard to see. I mean, I have okay vision, but if you had a hard time seeing, good luck.
Yeah. What changes would you want to make that would make your shopping of that aisle more enjoyable?
Samples. That would be one of them. How realistic that
What
is.
about the way that the shelf is configured or laid out? What changes would you want to make to that so that's more enjoyable for you to shop that section?
Let's see. Laid out. You mean like maybe more shelving, more space?
Maybe
Uh,
like just the placement of what is where.
Trying to think. I know I'm trying to think what would I don't know, I never put as much thought into that. That's a good point. Hmm. I don't know what I'd say to that because I never put that as much thought into that.
Okay.
I mean, I
Okay.
don't have an issue with the way it currently is. I just wish there was more of a selection.
Got it. Got it. So, what would get you to buy more frozen desserts or to shop that aisle more often? What's the change or changes that would get you to do that?
Um, More selection probably. Um, I like some of the stuff. I will say some of the items are kind of, I mean, the ice cream rolls aren't expensive, but they're not cheap either for the size. So I don't know, maybe if there were more like coupons offered, pricing sometimes of certain products, I feel like with the frozen pie, some of them more expensive than I like them to be, but they still taste good. So
Is it easy for you to find exactly what you're looking for when you're shopping the aisle, or do you sometimes have to, is it more difficult for you to find what you're looking for?
I'm not there because I know that layout pretty well. But if I'm going to the store for the first time at first, because every place is different. Like some places will have the pies and all that right near the ice cream. Some, believe it or not, have it like kind of further away or in a separate like section of the store. That is a little more confusing, but every store organizes them differently. So
Yeah, yeah. So, what is the number one thing that helps you find what you're looking for in a new store? Like, how do you know how to navigate that shelf the first time you're there, or one you're unfamiliar with that you rarely go to?
I use common sense. When you go in, usually you might see signs above, like in different, you can see the ones in the back. I mean, generally most stores have a similar layout. When you go in, that the dairy is to the left, the bakery and deli to the deli and the meats in the back. The bakery tends to be to the right. So it kind of,
If I may stop you just for a second, one, you're already in the frozen aisle. How do you find the exact product that you want? Sorry if I wasn't clear on that. Not how you find the aisle, but how do you find the
visual,
product?
just visual, just by scanning.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And is that usually hard or difficult for you in a new store?
I'd say neither. You might be in that aisle and then it will say like ice cream, or it will say like, I forget the exact category you might use, but you'll have like, and I pretty much know the area once you start to find like the frozen pie crust, or, like the Cool Whip, all that stuff, usually in the right area.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, you're probably not going to believe it, but it is coming up on our 30 minutes. That went really fast, huh?
No, we can ask more questions. I like talking about this.
I'll ask one more question. So, what else about frozen desserts, anything at all, do you want to tell me now that you have the ear of a, frozen dessert manufacturer? What do you want to make sure that we hear you say?
Well, I love this because I love giving my feedback. Uh, uh, Overall, I think I know I'm trying to think the fruit. I would say they're overall pretty good. I wish there was more variety. I know we've already touched on that. As a chocolate fanatic, we need more chocolate in the world. It drives me crazy when you go in, it's like all you see is vanilla. I have noticed in recent years, though, some companies are coming out with like the chocolate bars, like the chocolate dipped, ice cream bars with chocolate on the inside is ice cream instead of vanilla, which I certainly appreciate and love that. I just wish, like I said, there was more variety. I just wish there was more chocolate available too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. You've been a lovely consumer to talk to. You made my job easy and fun today.
Oh, thank you. I love your red hair. Ooh, I want
Thank
that.
you.
And I'm jealous of that background. I got to figure out how to do that. It's so cool.
You just drop a picture in Zoom.
Oh, it's literally all you do?
Yep.
Oh, it's that simple? Wow.
Deceivingly easy.
Oh, I thought it was more complicated. It's pretty good to know. Well, I am glad and I'm happy to take part of this just because, it's true. What you say is because other consumers probably feel the way I do. So it's nice to always give feedback. I'm happy to see changes made and come about because of that.
Great. I am so glad to hear that. And as promised, your thank you gift will be coming from the project manager. And with that, I will wish you a great day and say goodbye.
Thank you. I'm sorry about any background noise.
Oh, don't worry about it. It cleared itself up. So thank you.
I told everyone to be quiet and go in the other room. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.